Iran is a country located in a very important part of the world, often called the Middle East. It sits at a crossroads connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. This special location has made its history incredibly rich and significant for thousands of years. The story of Iran is a story of great empires, powerful ideas, and enduring culture that has shaped not only its own people, but the entire world. Understanding Iran's past helps us understand many things about our world today, from art and religion to politics and international relations. Its journey through time is a long and fascinating tale, filled with triumphs, challenges, and remarkable transformations that continue to unfold even in our modern era. The story begins long ago, with ancient peoples who settled on the vast Iranian plateau. These early inhabitants were skilled farmers and nomads, living in a land of high mountains and dry deserts. Over many centuries, different groups like the Elamites and the Medes established powerful kingdoms in the region. The Medes were particularly important because they were the first to unite many of the Iranian tribes under a single rule. They built a strong kingdom and prepared the ground for something much bigger to come. Their efforts created a foundation of unity and military strength that would soon be used by one of history's most famous leaders to build an unprecedented empire. This leader was Cyrus the Great. He emerged from a region called Persis, which is where the name Persia comes from. Around 550 BC, Cyrus led the Persians to victory over the Medes, uniting the two peoples. But he did not stop there. Cyrus was a brilliant general and a wise ruler with a vision that extended far beyond his homeland. He went on to conquer vast territories, including the powerful kingdoms of Lydia and Babylon. His conquests were remarkable not just for their speed and scale, but for the unique way he governed. He showed respect for the different cultures and religions of the people he ruled, a revolutionary idea for his time. Cyrus's approach set a new standard for what an empire could be. Instead of destroying the cities he conquered, he often preserved them and honored their local traditions. A famous example is his conquest of Babylon, where he freed the Jewish people who had been held captive there, allowing them to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. This act is celebrated in the Bible and shows his policy of tolerance. This new kind of empire, built on a foundation of military power but governed with a surprising degree of respect and administrative skill, was the beginning of the Achaemenid Empire, the first great Persian empire. It marked the moment Iran stepped onto the world stage as a major power. After Cyrus the Great established the empire, his successors worked to expand and organize it. One of the most important of these rulers was Darius I, also known as Darius the Great. He was not just a conqueror, he was a brilliant administrator who organized the vast empire into provinces, each governed by a satrap or governor. This system allowed for efficient local rule while maintaining central control. Darius also introduced a standardized currency and a system of weights and measures, which made trade across the empire much easier and more reliable. He built a network of roads, with the most famous being the Royal Road, which connected the far corners of his domain and enabled swift communication and travel. Under Darius, the Persian Empire reached its greatest extent. It stretched from the Indus Valley in the east to parts of southeastern Europe in the west, and from Central Asia down to Egypt. It was the largest empire the world had ever seen at that point. Managing such a diverse territory with so many different peoples was a major challenge, but the Persian system of governance proved to be very effective. The empire was multi-ethnic and multi-religious, and while the central authority was strong, local cultures were generally allowed to flourish. This period of stability and prosperity, known as the Pax Persica or Persian Peace, allowed for a great flowering of art, architecture, and intellectual thought. To showcase the power and glory of his empire, Darius began the construction of a magnificent ceremonial capital, Persepolis. Located in the heart of the Persian homeland, this city was not a normal administrative center, but a grand stage for celebrating the New Year festival, Nowruz, and receiving tributes from all the nations of the empire. The architecture of Persepolis was breathtaking, with enormous palaces, grand stairways, and intricate stone carvings. These carvings, known as reliefs, depict representatives from every corner of the empire, from Ethiopia to India, bringing gifts to the Persian king. They are a vivid illustration of the empire's immense diversity and the king's supreme authority over it. The cultural contributions of this era were immense. The Persians developed a unique style of art and architecture that blended influences from Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Greece into something new and distinctly Persian. They also followed the religion of Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic faiths. This religion emphasized the eternal struggle between good and evil, truth and falsehood, and it likely influenced later religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The legacy of the Achaemenid Empire, with its administrative innovations, cultural achievements, and grand vision of a multicultural world state, left a permanent mark on the history of civilization and established a powerful idea of Iranian identity. The Great Achaemenid Empire eventually fell to the armies of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC. This conquest brought Greek culture and influence known as Hellenism into Iran. After Alexander's death, his empire was divided, and Iran was ruled by the Seleucid dynasty. However, the Persian spirit was not extinguished. Over time, native Iranian dynasties, such as the Parthians and later the Sasanians, rose to power, re-establishing a strong Iranian empire that became a formidable rival to the Roman Empire in the West. The Sasanians, in particular, revived the traditions of the Achaemenids and championed Zoroastrianism as the state religion, presiding over another golden age of Persian art, music, and science. A profound and lasting change came to Iran in the 7th century AD with the Arab conquests and the arrival of Islam. The Sasanian Empire, weakened by long wars with the Byzantine Empire, was unable to resist the new dynamic force emerging from the Arabian Peninsula. Within a few decades, Iran was incorporated into the expanding Islamic Caliphate. This event marked a major turning point in Iranian history. The old state religion of Zoroastrianism was gradually replaced by Islam, and Arabic became the language of administration and religion. This was a period of immense transformation, as the Iranian people adapted to a new faith and a new political reality that connected them to a wider Islamic world. Despite the dominance of Arab rule and the Arabic language, Persian culture did not disappear. In fact, it proved to be incredibly resilient and influential. Iranians made enormous contributions to Islamic civilization, excelling in science, medicine, philosophy, and mathematics. Scholars like Avicenna, also known as Ibn Sina, wrote medical and philosophical texts that were studied in Europe for centuries. As the direct political control of the Arab caliphs weakened, Persian language and identity experienced a powerful resurgence. The Persian language, now written in the Arabic script and enriched with Arabic vocabulary, re-emerged as a major literary language. This period is often called the Persian Renaissance. This cultural revival reached its peak with the epic poem known as the Shahnameh, or Book of Kings, written by the poet Ferdowsi around the year 1000. This massive work tells the mythical and historical story of Iran, from the creation of the world to the Arab conquest. By writing it in Persian, Ferdowsi almost single-handedly preserved and revitalized the language, ensuring its survival as the cultural heart of Iran. The Shahnameh became a cornerstone of Iranian identity, linking the Islamic present with the glorious pre-Islamic past. It demonstrated how Iran had successfully integrated Islam while preserving its unique cultural and linguistic heritage, creating a new synthesis that was both Persian and Islamic. The centuries that followed saw Iran ruled by a series of dynasties, including Turkic and Mongol invaders, who often adopted Persian culture as their own. By the 16th century, the Safavid dynasty established a strong, unified Iranian state once more. The Safavids made a crucial decision that continues to shape Iran today. They declared Shia Islam as the official state religion. This distinguished Iran from its Sunni Muslim neighbors, particularly the Ottoman Empire, and became a central pillar of its national identity. The Safavid era was another golden age for art and architecture, with the city of Isfahan becoming one of the most beautiful cities in the world, filled with magnificent mosques, palaces, and bridges. Iran's modern history began to take shape in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, as it faced increasing pressure from powerful European empires, namely Russia and Britain. These foreign powers competed for influence and control over Iran's resources, particularly after the discovery of oil. This period led to a growing sense of national consciousness and a desire for independence and modernization among Iranians. The constitutional revolution of the early 1900s was an attempt to establish a constitutional monarchy and limit the power of the king and foreign influence. Although it had mixed success, it was a landmark event that introduced new political ideas like democracy and rule of law into the country. The 20th century was a time of dramatic change. Under the Pahlavi dynasty, which came to power in 1925, Iran underwent a rapid program of modernization and secularization. The government built infrastructure, expanded education, and promoted a westernized lifestyle. However, these changes were often imposed from the top down and created deep social and cultural tensions. While some Iranians embraced the new direction, many others felt that the reforms were eroding the country's religious and cultural traditions. The king, or Shah, became increasingly autocratic and relied on his close relationship with the United States, which further fueled popular discontent among various groups within the society. This widespread dissatisfaction culminated in the historic Iranian Revolution of 1979. This massive popular uprising, led by the exiled religious leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, overthrew the Shah and transformed Iran into an Islamic republic. This event fundamentally reshaped Iran's government, society, and its relationship with the rest of the world. It established a unique political system based on Islamic principles, known as the guardianship of the Islamic jurist. Since the revolution, Iran has remained a major player in the Middle East and a subject of intense international attention, navigating a complex path defined by its revolutionary ideals, its deep historical identity, and its important strategic position on the global stage.